Hello and welcome to KLM Institute.
Today, we bring you an important update on India's solar industry, with a particular focus on the impact of the US tariffs on Indian solar exports and the growth prospects of the sector. The United States has recently imposed a 26% reciprocal tariff on solar exports from India. This move could slow down India's solar exports, but it also opens up a significant opportunity for Indian manufacturers. While the tariff makes Indian solar modules slightly more expensive than before, it's still lower than the tariffs imposed on solar equipment from other Southeast Asian countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand, which face much higher tariffs ranging from 36% to 49%. This difference in tariffs gives India a competitive edge, making Indian solar equipment more affordable for the US market. Experts believe that this could drive more demand for Indian solar modules and cells, creating opportunities for growth despite the tariff challenges. In the fiscal year 2025, India's solar exports are expected to reach 7 to 8 gigawatts, with a major portion going to the US. India's solar manufacturing capacity is robust, with 74 gigawatts for modules and 25 gigawatts for cells. The US, with a much lower solar manufacturing capacity, will continue to rely heavily on imports to meet its ambitious solar energy goals. By 2035, the US plans to add 739 gigawatts of solar energy, and with its limited production capacity, the US will be importing a significant portion of its solar equipment. In the past couple of years, the US has decreased its imports of solar equipment from China and has turned to countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, and Cambodia, where Chinese solar companies have set up export hubs. Despite these shifts, India now stands in a favorable position. With the relatively lower tariff of 26%, Indian solar manufacturers are likely to attract more demand, especially compared to their competitors in Southeast Asia, who face much higher tariffs. However, India is not the only country that will benefit from this situation. Malaysia, with a tariff of 24%, remains a strong competitor, potentially increasing its solar manufacturing capacity to take advantage of the growing demand. This means that India's solar manufacturers will need to act quickly and scale up their production capacity to maintain their edge in the global market. Experts, like Ankit Hakhu from Crisil Ratings, predict that the US will continue to rely on imports to meet its solar goals and may prefer Indian manufacturers over Chinese or Southeast Asian suppliers. However, India still faces challenges with cheap Chinese solar imports flooding the domestic market, which are often more affordable than locally manufactured products. To address this issue, the Indian government has been implementing various measures, such as the Basic Customs Duty (BCD) on solar imports, which is currently set at 20%. The government has also introduced non-tariff barriers, like the approved list of models and manufacturers, to prevent the dumping of cheap Chinese solar equipment in the domestic market. Despite these hurdles, India's solar manufacturing industry has made significant strides. India's push to build a strong manufacturing base has resulted in a reduction in reliance on imports, with the country now producing a larger share of the solar equipment it needs. But with the market still receiving cheaper solar modules and cells from abroad, many developers, who are also manufacturers, continue to import products for their projects. This makes the domestic market somewhat vulnerable to external price fluctuations. The Indian government's efforts to protect the domestic market from dumping practices, especially from China, are ongoing. The introduction of the Basic Customs Duty (BCD) on solar glass and other measures is a part of the strategy to strengthen the domestic solar manufacturing sector. As India moves forward with its solar manufacturing push, the focus now will be on how the country can scale up production and capture more of the global market, especially in the wake of shifting tariff dynamics. The favorable tariff situation with the US and the growing need for solar energy globally present a real opportunity for Indian manufacturers. But, to fully capitalize on this, India will need to continue to innovate and expand its manufacturing capabilities, ensuring it stays ahead in the competitive solar energy market. That's all for today's update. Stay tuned for more informative news, and don't forget to share and subscribe for more updates from KLM Institute.